Hey y'all, happy Sunday, happy Sunday. Oh my God, it has been way longer than it was supposed to be before I got on here and provide you guys an update. And you know what prompted me? I was looking at my YouTube stuff and I seen my video, and then someone actually watched my video on YouTube and found me in the NACA group and was like, please do an update. We need an update. We need to know what's going on. So here I am. I so apologize. I had said I was coming back 2 months. That was back in May. I was supposed to come back in 2 months and provide you guys updates, and I didn't. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But here it is. It is February, the last day of February 28th, 2021. And I wanted to share with you guys that I am a homeowner. What? So I actually closed in November 5th, 2020. I signed and closed on my home here in California in the Bay Area. And so I wanted to just come on here and do a quick update. If you have any specific questions and things like that, feel free to, leave it down below, and I will definitely, I could do some follow-up videos. I can just answer your questions, directly. Just let me know. I am not a YouTuber. I'm not, into all of that. Well, I'm into it because I watch YouTube and stuff all the time. I just don't know how to do all that, editing and all that. So this is just going to be a straight, video with an update. But man, where do I start? I closed, y'all. Oh my God. So in the first video, I had told you guys all the different things that you would need to, be prepared to upload and stuff before your, your first appointment. At that point in May, I had my first meeting. And so they had put me on a plan so I can do my payment shock for 3 months. So I did have my next meeting in August, like I had mentioned, and I actually had got qualified in that first meeting. So it was a super smooth process. I was super excited to know that I had finally got qualified. I went to the purchase workshop. I had found out my, amount. I think I had got approved at that time. It was like a little over 400K. And so what I did was I went back and got re-qualified. So I went back twice because I don't know if you remember in the first video, I only wanted to have a mortgage of $2,500, or less. And so I didn't take the max amount. They had told me I can max out at $3,200 a month. And my mortgage payment, I knew I definitely didn't want to pay that. But I was advised to, go for the max, and then you have wiggle room while you're out there searching and things like that, because you just never know. So if that's any advice I want to give you today, is to make sure that you just get approved the first time for your max amount. So that way you're not wasting, like for me, I wasted almost 2-3 weeks of going back and getting requalified for a higher amount. So I did get qualified in August. I went back 2 weeks later, got requalified for a higher amount. So my final qualification amount, I think it was like $463,000 was the mortgage amount, not the mortgage amount, the overall loan. But I still didn't want to go over, $2,500 a month in mortgage. So I did that. I attended the purchase workshop that Thursday, got my letter, and then I had already started looking at some homes and had things on standby. And so as soon as we got the green light, we put in a offer. We viewed the property, I think it was like on a Saturday, and then that Monday we were putting in the offer. When I say my process was so smooth, y'all, my first offer was accepted. I was expecting to be in a bidding war. I was expecting to get, several no's before I got my yes, because that's what, I was being prepared for, that, this was going to be a struggle. But I had such a smooth process. They accepted my offer. We did go back and forth for about 2 or 3 days over, the offer price and what that all would entail. But I was able to get my jacuzzi. I don't know if I mentioned that in the first video. I really wanted to have a jacuzzi. Even if the house didn't come with one, I was going to buy a jacuzzi for the backyard. It's just me. I wanted to get a home that was, small and not a lot of maintenance for me coming into this process as a first-time home buyer. I definitely knew I wanted a single family home. I didn't want to do a condo or a townhouse or anything like that, but I also didn't want to take on too much. So I wanted something where there was a front yard, a backyard, enough to entertain a little bit, but small enough for me to be able to attend to myself, or hire gardeners and stuff like that, in which I did. So yeah, I purchased at 565,000. And so that was 100K over what I was qualified for. I did buy down my interest rate. So when I first got approved, the interest rate at that time was 2.75. And I bought down to 2.35, which was a little over $2,000. So it wasn't much at all. And they just deducted that from my earnest money. So because I was really serious about this house, I wanted this house. I told my realtors, I want this house. I did a really high earnest money. I put down $10,000 to say, I'm serious about this offer. Please give me this house. So I put down 10. And at the end, you can get that back. It can go towards other costs and things like that. And that's exactly what it did. By time I came down to closing, there's no closing costs, but you do have fees, other different fees that you have to pay for. If you agreed to split things or take care of certain things with the sellers, all that comes at the end. And so there was a few things that I agreed to take care of, because I knew if I asked the sellers for anything, I would not get this house. It wouldn't be the best offer out there. And in my opinion, it was small things that needed to be done, like the sewer lateral certificate, or the sidewalk here in California in the Bay Area. That's a new requirement now. And so I think it was like $5,000, and we split it. So that $2,500 came out of my earnest money. So it was little things like that. And then one was, I don't know if it was like a title change or something. I can't remember what it was, but it was a very small thing. I cleared hand so quick. I didn't have any repairs for the house. There were a couple of small recommendations, in which, I waived, because it was something I can do over a long period of time. It was nothing that was urgent. And so hand cleared me really quick. The one thing I would say that worked my nerves a little bit was that credit access phase. Credit access, man. First of all, shout out to my my mortgage counselor out in the Sacramento office. She was bomb. When I say she was so attentive, she was on it. She knew everything, front, back, left, right. I was really blessed to have her as my mortgage counselor. We was able to get things in right away. As soon as I got, approved and got to the bank app portion, she sent everything right over to me. I sent it right back to her. But that credit access, y'all, they wanted to keep asking for the same thing over and over again. And my counselor's like, it's in there already. I know it's in there. So she just kept bumping it up to the top so they could see it. It was one of my tax transcripts. So it was nothing they were asking me for that I hadn't already had uploaded into the system. So that was the aggravating part for me. Is like, this is stuff that's in there. It's not like it's something I needed to go out and do. So I was like, whatever, I want this house, so let me just give Bank of America what they're asking for. So that took 2 times. So I was denied credit access twice because they needed that form. And then once she resubmitted it again, they approved it. Things went really smooth. Then I went into the initial review at Bank of America. They cleared me right away. They needed one piece of paper from the title company. The title company got that right over to them. And, you know, that was fine. I got my clear to close. That took, was I clear to close? I'm trying to think. I'm sorry. See, that's why I should have did this video right afterwards. I got my clear to close. That came maybe a few days after I was supposed to close. Like 2 days after I was supposed to close. It wasn't far off at all. And it wasn't because of NACA that I was delayed to close or anything. So NACA was great during the whole process. We were waiting on Bank of America. I got the clear to close. The next day, I had to go down to Sacramento office and sign all my paperwork. That went really smooth. That was on November 5th. I'm all excited, thinking I'm going to give my keys and everything the same day. Nope. So I'm seeing in the groups, everybody getting their keys once they sign. You know, every state works different. Every county works different. Because the Oakland office is closed now here in California, even us here in the East Bay has to go down to Sacramento, which means it's a totally different title company and stuff like that. So they have to take the paperwork all the way back out here to the East Bay to the courthouse in downtown Oakland and for us to go on record. So I did not get my keys the same day. I was so bummed. I had my car all packed up, ready to go. No. So then this is where the wait came in. As you know, we're in the middle of a pandemic. And unfortunately, at the courthouse, that particular department, everyone had caught COVID. And so it shut down for a little while. And then things were delayed because I signed in Sacramento. I wasn't a priority. They were prioritizing folks, you know, here in Alameda County first. And so there was a delay. I did not get my keys for almost 2 weeks, y'all. 2 weeks. And it was nothing I could do. It was nothing my realtors could do. It was nothing, you know, the sellers couldn't do. Everybody was just, you know, waiting. It was like we all signed all the paperwork. We took care of everything. You know, was just waiting for it to go on record at the courts. And so I think officially, I think it was like the 12th, November 12th, I had got the email that I went on record and everything was settled. So I was able to come and get the keys and move in that day. And it's just been truly amazing. I'm so grateful NACA made me save that money because I was able to come into my house and, you know, furnish the house and still have savings. I did not come into NACA, come into home ownership broke. And so that was really a blessing. So just a recap, I am a non-priority member with NACA out here in California, in the East Bay, and I was not sure that NACA will work for a state, for area that was considered high cost of living, but it works, y'all. It works. I did it. And I know that you're able to do it too. If anything, I just want to say, like, hang in there. I know that it can get, you know, pretty rough. Everybody's experience is so different. Sometimes you're going to have to take a pause, take a break from some of the groups, and just focus on you and come back. I had a really smooth process. I ended up having a really good counselor, so I didn't have the same horror stories of like my meetings being canceled or not hearing back from my counselor and things like that. Things were literally smooth. My process was 6 months. From the video you guys see me post back in May, that was my very first appointment. So I had my first appointment in May. I got qualified in August. I put my offer in September, and then I closed in November. So it was a 6-month process. It was really smooth. It was a really quick process. Like I said, my only feedback would be to make sure you just get qualified for the max in the beginning so you have wiggle room to play with. You don't have to use all of it, but it's better to have it than needing to go back and get qualified. Something else for me is if you ever owed taxes one year, even if they're paid, you paid them regardless, you need both transcripts. There's one that says tax transcript and one says account transcript. You need both. Okay, so please keep that in mind. That's not something that they always advertise or say. My counselor informed me of that, and I was able to upload it right away in that meeting and still be able to get qualified. But that's something that could have set me back, and I didn't know about it. So like I said, if you ever owed taxes and you paid it off, you need both transcripts, tax transcripts and your account transcripts. One shows that the balance is paid off, and that's why you need that other one. The other thing, when I have finally met with my counselor and stuff, those letters of explanations for like your cash apps, your ATM withdrawals, she said it only had to be for items that were $100 or more. So initially me coming in, I was told it was for anything that they could not trace. So she said I was overly prepared. Being that every counselor works different, it's really up to you what you want to do. I stopped using Cash App and Venmo. I got the Cash App and Venmo card. So if anybody ever sent anything or whatever, it went to that card and not into my bank accounts anymore, because I was spending too much time every month with those statements. I told y'all that in that first video. It was just too many transactions I had going on. So I switched over to that card. And so then my bank statement was a lot cleaner than when I first started. And that really helped with the process too, because Bank of America didn't need to question anything that was happening in my account. Make sure payment shock. Payment shock is when you have to save the difference of your mortgage. So say if your rent right now is $1,000 and your mortgage is going to be $2,000, you have to save $1,000 every month until you close, plus your $200 of surplus that they make you save. They have to see this over all of your accounts. So although you're saving that in savings, please keep in mind your balance in your checkings or any other accounts at the end of the month. Whatever it is at the end of the month, it needs to be that or more every single month. If it goes down, they're going to deduct that from savings because it's going to be less. So please make sure you're looking at every single account and making sure that your overall accounts are the same or adding up to more every single month. I'm trying to think, is there anything else? I don't know. I'm still so excited. Like, I know I closed in November. Sometimes it still seems so surreal. It just doesn't seem real. Like, I'm like, I really did do it, y'all. I did it. It's just, it's shocking. It's a blessing. But yeah, it's possible. So, hey, hang in there, NACA cousins. Like I said, if you have any questions, you can find me in the unofficial NACA group. I'm there. I'm in the post-close home ownership group through NACA. You can also leave a comment below, and I'll do my best to answer it. But it's possible. Hang in there, and I'll see you on the other side.